Are you ready?
Quit time!
We are the best in the world at what we do.
It's the PriMalLow Wrestling Show with Robert Price, Tom Malloy, and your host, Rich Lopez.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 46 of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Rich Lopez, here with my two colleagues, as always, Tom Malloy and Robert Price.
Hello, hello.
Yo, 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 guys.
Fun-filled Monday. We had Monday Night Raw, as always, and we also had the Grammys, so there was some good head-to-head competition cable-wise. But we're not here to talk about the Grammys and music. We're here to talk about wrestling. So we're going to recap Raw, as always. Big title change with Ambrose losing his IC title, so we're going to obviously touch on that. And then we're also going to give our Fastlane predictions, which this was the go-home episode for Fastlane, so we're going to talk about that, as well as our topic discussion. Titus O'Neil, which is probably the hottest topic this week with his suspension. It was originally 90 days, and it got bumped down to 60. Will he make WrestleMania? Hear it on the show.
We also have a full PriMalLow Mailbag this week. We have questions from Adam, Caitlin, Michael, and Tom. And we have the WrestleMania Remake. Undertaker's WrestleMania opponents. Who are we going to change them to? You find out.
Then we're going to conclude our show with our Self High Five. Wrestlers who should have been WWE Champion prior to the brand extension in 2002.
Yeah, we got a fun-filled show here, so stay tuned after this short break. Episode 46 is coming right for you. Yes, that is Dean Ambrose music. The Ambrose Asylum lost the Intercontinental Championship last night on Raw in a great Fatal 5-Way match that was Kevin Owens, Stardust, Tyler Breeze, Ambrose, and am I missing somebody
Dolph
else?
Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler. He's just, for me, he's just getting so forgettable. I apologize. But great match, and Kevin Owens came out on top. We were wondering how Ambrose is going to possibly go into WrestleMania as IC champion. They found out, we found out how that was not going to happen, and Kevin Owens is going in probably as IC champion. So what do you guys think about Raw? Like I said, it was going head-to-head against the Grammys, so they needed it to deliver. Malloy, did they deliver for you?
Not really. I was not fully interested in Raw. Actually, I switched between there and the Grammys back and forth.
Okay. What did you like about it?
I really enjoyed the Fatal 5-Way match. That was a really good match. Actually, to me, the most outstunning superstar in there was Tyler Breeze. I really thought he was going to pick up the belt.
When it comes to like multi-superstar matches, he's very good. At NXT, when he had that Fatal 4-Way NXT Championship match, he's the one. I mean, Sami Zayn and Neville did well, and so Tyson Kidd, but Tyler Breeze, not trying to go off topic, but he's just overlooked because of his size, especially with McMahon. But he's really good, as we all know, because we watched NXT a little bit.
And dislike-wise, I really didn't understand the main event with Undertaker. Well, not Undertaker, Kane. Kane coming through from hell.
Of course, that's the
with the Wyatt
now.
family. So I really just was not a big fan of that.
I
think the Wyatt family's going in the wrong direction, but that's
It's just a filler match.
It's just a filler match.
Yeah.
Number one, number two, to touch on what you're saying, I really didn't agree with the booking, knowing that Big Show had to do a podcast.
Did you guys watch the podcast? He ran. He's like,
yeah, that's what I mean. Why would they do that to him?
I don't know.
As soon as he got there, Austin's like, he's not here yet. Let me tell you how I feel about blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yo, Big Show, you want a beer? He's like, am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, but I didn't understand the booking, but I do understand the main event was kind of especially for the go-home of Fastlane. Price, what did you like about the show? What did you not like?
I did not like that they call it a Fatal 5-Way. I don't believe it's called a Fatal 5-Way.
Isn't it called a 5-Way dance?
Yeah.
It's usually a
that'd
three-way
be called
dance.
that in like ECW. It's
WCW
normally just called
was-
a 5-way
Yeah.
match.
I would have
5-way man match.
Yeah.
I was happy that Dean Ambrose lost the title because of the fact that Kevin Owens picked it up. However, Kevin Owens could have just kept the title, and that would have been cool too. I also did not like that it's going to be Ziggler versus Owens.
What did I tell you
at
last week?
Fastlane, because that is total malarkey.
Well, like
Because
I told you
I
last
That'll
only-
be into that feud, though, there. I think it will be.
No, it definitely will be. Go ahead.
I just thought that it should have been Tyler Breeze versus Kevin Owens, just with the way that the
I
match
completely
ended
agree.
as well.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the thing with that is I remember you guys touched on it, how Kevin Owens was on a losing streak, and I said that it's really just to make Ziggler believable to Kevin Owens. Like I said, I was thinking Kevin Owens is going to get ready for Taker, so he's just going to dominate like the second half of that match against Ziggler. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't understand. I really wish Tyler Breeze was in that match because, like I said, when it comes to multi-superstar, like triple threats or fatal four-way matches or stuff like that, he does deliver. So that probably would have been an exciting match. What do you guys think about the Paul Heyman? Oh, well, you brought it up right before the show. Ambrose and Reigns, right after the Paul Heyman segment, excuse me. And somebody, what was it, you, Price, that said he almost turned heel, so Rich was almost right?
Heel.
Yeah, what did you think about that before we get into the prediction show? Did you like that little standoff thing? Or
I thought it was pretty cool. I know that Tom mentioned something a couple of weeks ago when there was a triple threat and Shawn Michaels and Triple H were in there. And
versus Cena, it's like the same
Yeah,
thing.
Survivor
As soon as
Series.
the match
was kinda like
started,
that
you
thing.
saw Triple H and Shawn Michaels going at it. I think Shawn Michaels came out of nowhere to pedigree, then Triple H, or no, Shawn Michaels came through with a super kick,
Scared
then
me.
Triple H
Scared me there.
came through, put Shawn Michaels to the table with a pedigree, and
No.
they went back to focusing on Cena.
It's-
So I think that's how it's going to be at Fastlane.
but you think
I
it's going to be
believe-
Reigns doing it now?
I think Reigns. Well, whoever has the quicker finishing move, I think it's going to start off with Reigns giving a Superman punch right to Dean Ambrose,
Yeah.
then going right after Lesnar.
What's what I'm saying? Do you think Reigns is going to be the one to reverse the favor, is what I'm saying, to start
Yeah,
off the
because
match?
he attempted the dirty deeds, and we'll find out on SmackDown if they go elsewhere.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he actually was trying to do dirty deeds. He was more or less saying, "Oh, you got to be faster than that," to make it believable that he can hit this out of nowhere.
That is true. Here's the thing, what I kept saying, why people don't like Reigns. I'm going to compare him to The Rock. I'm going to compare him to Triple H, Austin. Besides Hogan and Cena, which Cena still, he had moments of this. If somebody even put you in a predicament to get a finishing move done on you, they would literally just reverse it and just attack you. What does Reigns do? Friend or not? That's the thing, too. I don't care if you're going to say Dean Ambrose is his friend, that's why he didn't attack him. If you want to be a serious threat, you have no friends, like Heyman said. It's either friendship or your family. So after that long speech from Heyman, and then Ambrose tries to do like a little fast one, like you said, Price, I still would have just speared him, which I thought he was going to do when he turned around from the turnbuckle, but he still didn't. So I was really pissed because Reigns he's just not a Cena. He doesn't look like a Cena. He certainly didn't act like Cena in the Shield, so that's why I think people just don't like him now, because we already knew what he once was. So,
And you see him trying to act harder as a babyface, like how he's always clean cut, even though he has a long ponytail. Everything else, he's not a babyface. He's, as Paul Heyman says, a badass Samoan.
yeah. We'll just get right into the Fastlane predictions because I don't want to take up too much time for Raw, which wasn't that great, besides the Fatal 5-Way. So let's just go with the show. We'll start off with the pre-show. We have the United States title match, which I find really, really weird to be on the pre-show. I thought, which I'll explain later, I thought the Peep Show segment was going to be, but whatever. 2 out of 3 falls. We have Kalisto defending his title against Alberto Del Rio, and what I think a feud that really needs to end after this match. Price, who do you have?
Alberto Del Rio. I
Really?
believe that with Sin Cara coming back, they're going to just push him back into being a tag team superstar.
Boy,
ADR, he's going to get the title back. I think
I wasn't expecting the 2-on-1 here because I have Kalisto winning.
Yeah, because just with the back, it makes Sin Cara irrelevant.
Okay. See, I think they're going to face off at Mania. That's why I have Kalisto winning. Del Rio just still doesn't need that title. He's surpassed the U.S. title, and that League of Nations, if booked correctly, can be a high mid-card stable. Well, that obviously remains to be seen. Like I just said, I thought this should have been the pre-show, but it's not. I'm assuming it's going to be on the Fastlane pay-per-view. It's the Cutting Edge Peep Show. Excuse me. Say that 5 times fast. Edge and Christian interview the New Day. Price.
There's only one word to describe this segment, and I'm going to spell it out for you. It's
S-A-W-F-T.
SAWFT.
Soft. I was thinking the same exact thing. That's awesome. So you think they're going to come out?
Yeah, that's about it. So,
I can-
Tom?
Yeah, I think they're going to come out too.
Oh,
I was like,
I thought you were like, no.
no, from seeing their last standpoint in NXT, I think definitely they're on their way up to the main roster, which would be cool if that developed into a title match.
It will. Definitely.
No, for Sunday night.
Oh, okay. I think they're going to save that for Mania.
Well, maybe
Yeah, that's-
disqualification. Xavier Woods comes in, hits someone with a chair,
And then a fatal 4-way with
knocks out
Dudley's.
Carmella, whatever.
We don't promote domestic abuse.
If this is 1997, it'd be a completely
If it
different
was
story.
ECW, yeah, definitely. But yeah, I completely agree. I think that's when they're going to come out. And that's going to be gold mic work. I'm telling you right now.
Because they're all
Yeah.
good on the mic.
All of them.
All 6 people in that ring. Well, 7
Yeah.
will be good on the
8,
mic.
9.
8, what? Never mind.
He's just coming. Divas tag team match. I'm kind of happy. This is the first pay-per-view to, multi-diva matches here, like we were talking about in a prior episode. We have Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks versus Naomi and Tamina. Switch it up. Malloy, who do you have?
I have Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks.
Okay.
I think this will overall, these two are going to win. They're going to turn on each other. Then go there. It's going to be a triple threat match at Mania for the women's title.
Okay. Price?
I agree.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I really wish what they could do just to make it interesting would be the winners become number one contenders, or the winners face off on Raw and for the number one contenders match. Just kind of make it more meaningful.
That would put significance on matches, and WWE just doesn't do
Which
that.
we talked about. Remember we said that?
Right. We said that in the past episode.
We did. We definitely did. I also have Becky and Sasha, and I'm kind of curious just to see how the finish is going to be, to see which one turns on each other, and at the end of the match or on the following episode of Raw. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to proceed with the Divas still with the Divas title match. We have Charlotte defending her title against Brie Bella, the soon retiring Brie Bella. Price, who do you have?
I have Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Yeah.
Why? Because I just said retiring.
No, I don't want to touch on that too much.
No, we'll talk about it in the later segment, PriMalLow
Right.
Mailbag from our great fans.
But I believe that just Charlotte going into this is the dream match that we all want to see. The three of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they
Yeah.
can't do that if Brie Bella has the title.
Well, we can't do that if Brie Bella leaves, too. What if we had a screw job? Yeah. There we go.
I have a whole scenario going in my head right now.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I have Brie Bella winning, but only keeping it for 2 weeks. But I also see a great match for WrestleMania come about. Daniel Bryan accompanies her to the ring, puts Ric Flair in the yes lock. Main event of WrestleMania, Ric Flair versus Daniel Bryan.
You know what? Bravo.
Knowing the way creative is, you might be able to get a job there. But I also have Charlotte winning. She's just doing great as a heel. I mean, at first I kind of thought that Ric Flair was just overshadowing her, but I think it's coming to the point now where
He didn't even say anything on
he
Raw.
does. Yeah, exactly. And she's just, my girlfriend's watching her. She's like, I hate Charlotte. I want to punch her. I'm like, she's doing her job. If as a heel, you want people that don't watch wrestling to hate you, and that's what she's doing, and she's great at it. So I also have Charlotte, and that will set up a triple threat match. Intercontinental title match: Kevin Owens, the newly crowned champion, against Dolph Ziggler. Price.
I believe Kevin Owens is going to win because I don't know why they would put the title on him for 6 days. But, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but, hey.
Taker. No, I'm joking. Boy.
I'm going to go with Ziggler.
What?
Are you being serious?
Dead ass.
Okay, why?
I just think Dolph Ziggler's been there long enough, and he could overcome the odds and beat Kevin Owens.
See, I think he's a future U.S. champion. I just think he's just so boring that he can't be.
He's going to reinvent himself, man.
Why, becoming Shawn Michaels Jr.? If anything, he made himself worse.
Yeah,
He
he shot Michaels with Billy Gunn.
He looks like the offspring of Skid Row.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I also have Kevin Owens. This is just going to set up, I think, him and AJ Styles in a classic match for, I think, like I said, I think WWE or Triple H, whoever has, the more power now. Well, Triple H is in WWE, but Kevin Dunn or McMahon, they know that they need to make the IC title more relevant, and they're doing that since probably Survivor Series, so it's good. So I have Kevin Owens. Here we go, the main event. Number one contenders match for the WWE Championship.
Number one contenders, yeah.
That's what I said, yeah. Finally. But the only thing is that there's no championship match, so
No.
we only get one of the other. We have Brock Lesnar facing off against Roman Reigns, who's facing off against Dean Ambrose. Price.
This match is so nice that we have to see it twice. Not the match itself, but the fact that you have a number one contendership 2 years in a row.
Yep.
I went with Dean Ambrose.
Okay.
Just because I like that feud of Dean Ambrose and Triple H more than Roman Reigns and Triple H.
Do you
and
think
Brock Lesnar and Triple H.
so Roman Reigns is pretty much the last option, as I think he is for
Yes.
everybody. Okay.
Anyone else but Roman.
How about you?
I got Dean Ambrose. I personally feel as though it should have been Dean Ambrose versus Triple H for the title at Fastlane because of the fact that they're the last two in the ring, and then have Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. It's just so the title's on the line. I mean, it's not like Triple H is on a light schedule. He's going to be there anyways. What the hell's the difference putting on your tights or not,
No, I know, but
But I'm really pulling for Dean Ambrose, though.
as much as I want to pull for Dean Ambrose, I really think they just took the title off him to kind of think that he might have a chance of winning now. But in the end, I think it's going to be Reigns. And it's going to be unfortunate because the main event's not going to be good. I think it'd be somewhat better with Dean Ambrose. Part of me thought it was going to be a triple threat because I don't know where Ambrose is going to fit in at Mania. until I thought of my.
I think Rollins going to be special guest referee.
No, I was thinking everybody's going to be in a corner. I was thinking Shawn Michaels with Triple H, Rock with Roman Reigns, and guess who will be with Ambrose?
Rollins.
No.
Danny Beans.
Who?
Daniel Bryan.
No. Steve Austin.
What?
That'd be sick.
I don't know what Austin's going to do, so I was just thinking
He's going to
about that.
attack The Rock.
Yeah, that's what that means.
Everyone's getting
WrestleMania
stuck.
Shawn
moment.
Michaels. What's the only? I mean, that would kind of defeat the purpose of DTA, but I mean, I don't know. Ambrose is always compared to him, so. But anyway, it's either that or Taker. I digress, but I do think Reigns is going to win. Unfortunately, I would like to see a triple threat though, because that was the original game plan at Mania too. Triple H just kind of filled in Rollins' spot.
Yeah, because just say, for instance, Roman Reigns does pin Lesnar. Why does Dean Ambrose lose his number one contendership? Because he never lost.
Well,
Because it's a triple threat match.
triple
Yeah,
threat
well,
match.
yeah,
That's
but
just the
still, you
point
could
of the
look at it
rules.
that way, though.
I'm
For the
sure
storyline purposes, yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess so.
exactly.
But there's also 2 unconfirmed matches I just put down as maybe if you want to just touch on it in case it does happen. AJ Styles versus Jericho, and then the Wyatt family versus Kane, Ryback, and Big Show. Do you guys think any of those matches will happen, and who do you guys have?
I have AJ over Chris Jericho with the finishing maneuver of a hug. I don't really care about this match. The WWE really made this that nobody cares about
They
it.
just try to make, I think, AJ.
And they just went way too fast with it. I would have thrown money at this at WrestleMania.
I agree.
If they actually put the time into it to actually put the match
Like
together.
how it was with Fandango. Even though they screwed up
Yeah,
majorly
AJ
with
Styles-
Fandango.
Yeah,
AJ Styles is nothing like Fandango.
No, he's better.
Fandango's way better.
they could have started at Fastlane, but I don't know.
Johnny
I got
Johnny
you.
Curtis
I-
was a great
No, he's great.
independent
He's
wrestler.
great.
Yeah.
Nothing against him. Just saying.
No. And then what do you guys think about the? Well, what do you think? Do you think that's match is gonna happen? Who do you have?
Yeah, and I have Jericho winning because I think Jericho's going to get his 10th time Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania.
Okay. Wyatt family, Kane, and Big Show. I don't know who's gonna win that match. I think Styles is gonna win because Jericho just puts over talent. But Wyatt family match. Do you guys think it's gonna happen, and what will happen?
Yes, it's a filler match. The Wyatt family will win.
Okay. How about you?
Same. Just a real price.
I think so too. Bray Wyatt will not be in the match. It will be Strowman, Harper, and Rowan, and Bray Wyatt will come interfere in the Brock Lesnar match. I'm assuming we all thought that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not questioning your guys' intelligence at all. Let's see if any of us were right. Episode 47, we will tell, or we will explain and see if there's any shockers, which I doubt, because everything's kind of just smoothing along for WrestleMania. But when we come back, after this short little break on the other side, it's a topic discussion. Titus O'Neil and his 60-day suspension. So
Hoorah,
stay
hoorah,
tuned.
hoorah!
Hey, I'm Tom Malloy from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Do you like Facebook? Do you like wrestling? Like our page, search the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Enjoy.
According to WWE standards, I guess chivalry does get you nowhere.
Hooyah, hooyah, hooyah!
Because Titus O'Neil got suspended for originally 90 days. This is what reports are. We don't know what happened leading up to it or after it. But reports go 90-day suspension because he kind of grabbed Vince McMahon's arm playfully after the Daniel Bryan celebration of retirement as Raw went off the air. And he told Vince, let your daughter go first. I'm pretty sure it was Stephanie McMahon was walking through. And he said, ladies first. McMahon shoved him back, and it wasn't supposed to be something serious. But anyway, he got suspended 90 days, got reduced to 60 days. Well, reports are saying that Joey Mercury and Triple H actually prevented McMahon from firing him. But that was the initial thing. But then they went to a suspension. So I guess what we're going to say is, do you guys agree with the suspension?
No.
No?
Not at all.
Why?
I don't agree with the suspension because I seen a different camera angle, hidden camera angle. No, I seen a different camera angle from a fan, and Vince was laughing about it. So why are you laughing about it than suspending somebody?
Yeah.
And the amount of time that he was suspending,
That's what I
the
don't
90
get.
days, people smoke the fake marijuana, the real marijuana, the shoot up, and they get 90 days.
Well, I don't
This
think people
guy
should
is
think
one of the
about it.
nicest guys that are on the card.
He's the biggest
You know-
guy outside Cena for outside, like publicity and appearances and stuff like that.
Even though he has this suspension, I'm quite happy for him because I seen what he did on Valentine's Day, and I'm happy that he was able to spend time with his family.
That's true. That's very true. Lloyd, why don't you agree with it?
I don't agree with it because the fact that I think Vince McMahon is a typical racist, honestly. Because of the fact that I believe if Cena said let this girl go first.
Well, you can't. All right, don't compare Cena to Titus. Cena's put a lot more days, hours, stuff like that.
No, but still,
pick another option where you can compare it to.
All right, let's say.
Do you think if it happened to Rollins, do you think the same thing would happen?
No, because Rollins is making him good money.
Okay.
So I mean, I guess like comparing like maybe to Dolph Ziggler. I don't think he'd do it to Ziggler. Well, Ziggler's been there long enough. So I mean, you can't really compare, I guess, any superstar. I just feel like the racial card is still in there to play with McMahon.
There's reports on that. I mean, obviously,
because I mean, clearly, thing 2 years ago, there was never a African American WWE champion, anything else, you know. And I think Titus O'Neil has all what it takes. You guys have seen me multiple times. I like the way Titus works in the ring. He has a good character, good fan base, and I hope he comes back and gets the push that he deserves.
Yeah. The reason why I heard there's two things. I just want to other side of the coin, but some guy on Twitter asked Batista if he's talked to Titus because they're really, really close.
Yeah.
And Batista told the guy, he replied back saying that he told Titus to ask for his release and just get out of there because that was just uncalled for. And then there's other reports saying Vince suspended him because the locker room is too playful and he wants people to start stepping up in the ring.
Using him as an example.
And using him as an example. I don't agree with the suspension for 60 days. However, I wouldn't mind, not even going to say 30 days, like maybe like just a couple weeks off TV, just to show him like, hey, like this could, like, just because I don't understand why you would touch your boss, playfully or not. I don't, that makes any sense.
But I'm sure he has a relationship with them. I mean,
I know, but especially in front of everybody, like not. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially the crowd? Do you know what I mean? Playful or not?
I guess Vince was just embarrassed.
That's what I mean.
And I think like as Mick Foley said in one of his tweets, if both parties went home and slept on it, the same thing wouldn't have happened.
I completely agree. That makes sense.
Because nothing good ever happens out of a rash decision.
I just think 60s, first of all, 90s way too much. I still think 60s too much. Like, I would have brought him back for WrestleMania so he gets a pay. Like, you know what I mean? So he gets some gratification. He might miss WrestleMania because it's, before the 60-day limit. So, do you think because of that, the big event and who they need? I mean, obviously Titus isn't a big main event star, but he is a credible star, especially when it comes to a battle royal like Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Do you think they will knock that suspension down for him to make WrestleMania?
No.
No?
I mean, it's sad and it's true, but I mean, like, you need to make an example, and if this is what he's really doing, then I don't even know if it's racism. It might be just the fact that he needs to make an example.
That's what I was.
And if you knock down this sentence that you can compete at WrestleMania, but you're still suspended, then that just leaves the door wide open for everybody else.
Yep.
Well, you know what? I'll be able to be on the card, but I'll still be suspended.
Yeah. How about you, Moore?
I just feels like you said, coming from the point that you're talking about as an example, I guess.
And I don't know if that's true. That's just
I mean, I could see it, though, because all those guys have all been friends. Like, you think about it, the WWE's not what it used to be.
All you need to do is look at up, down, down, and you'll see how playful the locker room is. So
and Vince probably hates that.
I don't know if he hates it, but I'm pretty sure, like, when it comes to in-ring competition, he wants, The Rock, the Austin, the Triple H to...
Yeah, because they're competing.
I'm going to step my game
better
up
than
tenfold. I need you to do it just as much to make a great product.
I think that's honestly died with Daniel. I think that died with Cena and Randy Orton.
That competitiveness?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Because everyone in the back's now like, oh, we were all in the independent scene. We all proved ourselves. We've all done that before. Now we're just here. We're making the big bucks. We're all just friends.
Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. And then last question here, just touch on this subject a little bit further. When he comes back, because obviously he will, how do you think he will be booked? Do you think he'll be booked to maybe redeem himself, or do you think he's going to get the shovel?
I think that he'll be booked the same way. I mean, he wasn't even on TV for a couple weeks and that kind of stuff, so I don't really know why. I mean, yeah, he got suspended, but I don't know why everybody's making a huge deal out of it. I mean, like, he's a mid-card wrestler at this point.
He's almost a jobber.
He's been here for multiple weeks. He's a regular on Superstars and Main Event.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. I will say when it comes to outside the WWE, he's a very, very integral
he's
part.
awesome. He's a great person.
Yes, yes. But I do know what you mean. That's why I said that. I think you think he'll get the sympathy treatment from everybody, all the backlash?
No.
Yes.
Yeah?
I think the people in the back are going to see that and be like, wow, man, that's kind of, screwed up that happened to you. And maybe the higher powers that be, like the higher guys on the roster, say, oh, man, I wouldn't mind losing to Titus O'Neil or give him a belt or something.
Yeah.
Make him a credible superstar, which he should be.
He will. I think he will be. You just need a couple more people to fall off the top peg, I guess. So, but yeah, I agree. I think he's gonna stay. Maybe he'll get a U.S. title, which I thought he was always groomed for anyway, just as a building block. But we'll see. Especially, my main not concern, but my main question with this situation is I just hope he makes Mania in time. I don't think it's gonna happen because I think he needs to be the example, unfortunately. But I hope he just makes Mania because he does so much work outside of the ring. So that's that. When we come back, it is time to answer our fans' questions. The PriMalLow Crew take on that in the PriMalLow Mailbag. So after this break, stay tuned. We're going to answer your questions.
Hi, I'm Robert from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show, here to tell you about our Twitter account. Follow our page at PriMalLow Show for fan interaction regarding professional wrestling. Thank you, and we can't wait to hear from you. Welcome back to the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Before we jump into the PriMalLow Mailbag, now it's time to plug our social media accounts. Tom, won't you take it away?
All right, you guys can find us on Twitter at the PriMalLow Show. You guys can also find us on SoundCloud, the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. On Facebook, search the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. We also have a group. If you want to be a part of it, got to join. Always good topics going on. We have a blogger, the PriMalLow Wrestling Show.blogspot.com. And finally, we have a YouTube page, the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Search for our episodes. They're there every week.
And before that, our Facebook group is the PriMalLow Wrestling Show group.
Yes, it's not much harder. Thank you guys for that break. My jaw's tired.
Yeah, so I'll just take it away.
Take it away for this segment, man. I appreciate it. Good job, Tom, for your first time, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have to give props.
This week for the PriMalLow Mailbag, the PriMalLow Mailbag, we had a great response. 4 people.
Thank y'all.
5 questions. So let's just take it away. Our first question is from Adam McGahee. What is the best wrestling video game of all time? Tom.
WWF No Mercy.
I agree. My backup is probably WrestleMania 2000.
I'm going to go with Fire Pro Wrestling because
Yeah.
you were able to have anything, customize everything. The graphics weren't there with, how they were in No Mercy but Fire Pro Wrestling still to this day putting out, you could make any kind of wrestler past, present. I have it for PlayStation. You could still make wrestlers of today.
Really?
Back then.
That's pretty cool. Real quick sleeper, 2K13 because of WrestleMania, 30 years WrestleMania. Very accurate.
He just loves
I
the
love
30
that.
years of WrestleMania. Now, Adam also submitted another question. And he says, how do wrestlers make themselves bleed? Or do they actually bleed?
I'll just go back in the 80s and 90s, mostly of the 2000s, underneath the wrist, cut the forehead, I guess. Nowadays, it's no blood at all unless it's really the hard way. And you'll know when it's the hard way because the trainers come immediately. Unless you're Brock Lesnar.
Now, the hard way meaning?
Like, literally, hit too hard or hit the chair the wrong way, which that really doesn't happen anymore. But the post, steps, all that kind of stuff.
It means an actual bleeding.
Yeah, it's not fake. He didn't do it to himself.
They also did blades. They also had blood packets. And
for balance.
some people
usually.
actually believe it's ketchup. So there's that.
I mean, if there's a burger in first row, maybe I'll consider it.
My idea on that is just usually the good old blade job done by the referee or in between the cups of the wristbands.
You can tell from the wrestlers from the 80s now because all their foreheads have scars.
Or Devon Dudley.
Yeah.
Right. And one last thing I wanted to say before we go to the next question. Terry Funk at his school for a short period of time was saying to keep the blades on the inside of your mouth.
Oh my God! Ow.
How bad is that? Because all your nerves that are inside there and stuff, you could actually bleed to death that way.
That's crazy. But thank you for those questions, by the way. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Adam. Next up, we have our good old pal Tommy,
Tommy?
the OG Tommy. He says this week, with Deadpool just coming out this week, can you make any wrestler superhero connections?
Superhero, no. I mean, you guys probably follow superheroes more than I do. I mean, I watch the movies. I don't follow comics or in-depth movies like that, I guess. But I think Neville kind of reminds me of a superhero. I wish he just had that cheesy cape. If he did have a cape, I wish it was a little bit more better, not so old school. And then I really don't know who else. I mean, Dean Ambrose is more like a Joker to me. And then Reigns, he looks to me more like a Batman than a Superman. I know he does Superman. You know what I mean? That's just my logic.
How about you, Tom?
My thing when looking at superheroes, I'm a big fan of them. I look at The Undertaker as a Batman. He's always the vigilante by himself. I also think as Dean Ambrose as Deadpool. I think as Deadpool, Dean Ambrose would do anything for money, as Deadpool does. And one more, I'd probably put Cena as Superman. Of course.
Brock Lesnar as Hulk. I just saw
There we
one.
go.
How about you?
Well, you just stole my thunder with Brock Lesnar's Hulk.
My bad.
I also went with Brian Pillman as the Joker.
Okay,
Because
that makes sense.
of that. I had Cena as Superman.
Captain America, I was thinking for Cena.
And then Bizarro is Cesaro.
Ooh, I like
I know
it.
the
Nice.
rhyme and the rhythm.
There you go.
So thank you very much, Tommy, for that question.
Thank you, Tom.
Now we're going to go back to a person who had questions in the PriMalLow Mailbag quite frequently,
Yes.
Mike Danilevich. As he says, why isn't Wade Barrett wrestling? Is he injured or is it a visa problem?
To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure it was at the end of the year, or it was like right before the League of Nations formed. So yeah, probably the end of the year, right before TLC. I thought he hurt his back. I could be wrong, or like top, almost by the shoulder. Unless I'm just thinking of that Jack Swagger injury. But I'm pretty sure he was injured. It wasn't a visa problem. Because if it was a visa problem, he wouldn't be on TV, right?
Right.
So it has to be an
'Cause,
injury.
No.
Because
Because Alberto Rio suffered from visa problem.
Yeah, but I thought he
able to be
wasn't. I thought he was on TV. Like I thought he couldn't go to the European tour.
Yeah, that's right. You are correct.
So I'm thinking it's an injury. I thought it was a back injury. I could be wrong.
All right.
But
And then the
I don't
other
know.
part.
Boyd, do you have anything on that?
I just think he's injured, or the fact that he wants to get out of there as soon as possible. Because I saw reports today that he's trying to leave
Well, that was
by summertime.
yeah, but that's only because his contract's ending. It's not because of his injuries or anything.
I also think he's injured. And the second part of Mike's question was, how do you feel about Bree getting a sympathy push?
This ties into the other one, right? I believe,
Right, it
which you
does.
talked
So
about before?
briefly, we're going to talk about this question.
Okay.
As it states, how do you feel about Bree getting a sympathy push with her husband retiring and sister injured, similar to Ray when Eddie passed away?
I might take a couple longer than a normal sentence. I actually don't think she's getting the sympathy push. I think that whoever was going to be in this spot was just a holdover for Sasha. I originally thought it was going to be Becky Lynch. I thought she was going to get a rematch from Royal Rumble. But I think Becky did such a great job in her feud that she's going to get a chance to be in the triple threat match. And now it was either going to be Brie, Paige, or Alicia Fox. I was thinking Brie or Alicia Fox as the placeholder. Charlotte's going to win, and then it's going to lead to the triple threat match. I don't know how you guys are going to have that booked, because this was way before. This is in the bookings before Daniel Bryan announced his retirement. I thought, and this is before obviously she plans to retire.
How about you, Tom?
I just feel as though she's using this as her last hurrah, because as you noted in Daniel Bryan's speech, that he's trying to start a family. So obviously she needs to take some time off to go that process of starting a family.
Yeah. I don't know what you thought, Bryce.
I don't feel as though that she's going to get a sympathy push. I mean, I see where the stars are aligning with Daniel Bryan retiring and Charlotte hurt Nikki Bella.
Yeah,
but
it was just perfect, like coincidental.
It's a perfect
events.
story of coincidence.
And it's definitely really perfect that she wants to retire, and it's only on one match thing. You don't need an additional rubber match or anything like that. So
Right.
I think it's just a placeholder.
So hopefully Brie Bella goes off to the sunset. She has a good match to go out on.
Hopefully.
And our last question is from Caitlin. She's a blogger for a blog for us on Blogger.
Blogger for us on our blog.
Blogger for our blogger.
Sorry.
Call me Crow. As she says, the Twitter universe is filled with rumblings that Brie Bella will retire after Fastlane. What will this mean for the Divas division? Would this maybe lead to Nikki not coming back as well?
Nikki will leave when John Cena leaves. To me. As for her leaving, what it affects the Divas division, to me, I mean, as I've always said, that Brie was given the chance, is probably better than Nikki until maybe Nikki's last title run. But I unfortunately don't think she's going to miss much, because if you think about it, Paige has just got back on television from a concussion. Bayley's going to be coming up. I really heard rumblings that Karma's coming back. Like, the Divas division is going to be deep. So, actually, I think there's still some excess. I mean, I think to be honest with you, you can get rid of Summer Rae unless she's a manager. You can get rid of Alicia Fox if she's unless she's a manager. Do you know what I mean? Like, on a wrestling level, she's not going to be missed.
I don't agree with you with Summer Rae.
She got better, right?
Because, listen,
She got really good last night.
they had her win over Paige, and everybody's like, well, why'd they have
No,
her?
she was
If you
good.
watched NXT, she was a part of a group with Sasha Banks and Charlotte, and she was actually a good wrestler.
I thought she was really good
And
last
she
night.
was only brought up to WWE to be with Fandango to dance because Eve Marie lied. but whatever.
Yeah.
And then they kind of buried her as that kind of
That's
thing.
true.
And then
They
it
never
was
gave her a
just
chance.
kind of those things that they pulled the trigger too late, and they're like, oh, well, since she's not with Fandango, now she has to wrestle, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. But no, like I said, I was actually saying yesterday, she's actually very good. She had a great match with Paige, and they only had like 5 minutes. But that's what I'm saying though. Like, so even if she's good, that division's really deep, and they still, like I said, they're gonna bring up Bailey at some point, and they're gonna bring up Karma.
How do you feel about this, Tom?
I don't think she's gonna be missed. I really don't think she was the best Divas. She did not attract my insight into the Divas division. So,
Okay.
So
to me, she's just manager material always to me. So
I think this will be one of the last models that
Yeah,
want to be wrestlers.
I agree. Yep. Completely agree
Not
with
that
you.
she's a wannabe, because I believe Nikki and Brie, after a while, started to like be like, oh wow, we better learn how to wrestle, because
That's why they
the
came
newer
back.
people that came,
That's why they came back. Remember, they were gone for
Right.
like a little under a year, over a year.
probably we'll say 6 months.
Yeah,
just for
but they
argument's
came
sake.
back. Their contracts are up. They came back to wrestle.
But
So,
exactly what you're saying with certain people coming up, like you have Asuka,
that's another
you're
one.
gonna get injured.
Yep.
You look at Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke is good. She works hard, but guess what? Coming from bodybuilding, she didn't learn everything too fast, and
She got-
Asuka hurt her.
Yep. So that's what I'm saying. But like, the rosters are gonna be so deep now because of NXT, because of the progression process. It's just so fast. I mean, 2 years, especially with all the television, just flies by. Do you know what I mean? So like, think of all the people that are gonna come up after Bailey: Asuka, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Alexa Bliss. And they're not even fully developed yet, and they could be what the Bellas were when they first arrived. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why I look at it. So I don't think she'll be missed, unfortunately. Now for marketing, she'll be missed.
One last thing before we close out this section. Yes or no? Are you excited for Carmen to come back? Yes or no?
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Okay, and this was the PriMalLow Mailbag. Once again, come on and submit your questions. We'll answer them here live on the air.
On the air, especially for episode 47. That's a lot of WrestleMania talk, I'm assuming, because it'll be the final month.
And speaking of WrestleMania, when we come back, our next segment is WrestleMania Remake. Undertaker's WrestleMania opponents. Who are we going to change? You'll find out after the break.
Hey, I'm Rich Lopez from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Don't forget to hear our new episodes of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show on SoundCloud. Episodes are uploaded every Tuesday night. Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome back to episode number 46 of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Do I get my job back, Price?
Unfortunately, you have to do most of the work. So
No, you guys did a great job.
the price is right.
The price is really, it was right. Malloy
you.
plugging social media,
Appreciate
for a first time. Great job. Price doing the whole PriMalLow Mailbag segment was a great job. I mean, I'm glad I get the job back for the rest of the show. This segment, we've been doing WrestleMania booking the last couple of weeks, but I really don't want to keep, make that a stale topic. So we're going to do WrestleMania Remake. This week we're going to do Undertaker's WrestleMania opponents. His record's 22-1 at WrestleMania. He's faced, Kane twice? Other than that, he hasn't faced anybody twice, right?
Triple H, he's
Triple
faced
H,
him 3
Taker,
times.
I'm sorry, yeah.
And Shawn Michaels.
I was thinking of, boring feuds. But the Kane wasn't boring, but for WrestleMania it was. But anyway, so in this segment, you're going to pick a WrestleMania moment. We're here. No, I'm joking. That's
it's a boogeyman.
It's the door. Sorry.
Well, he's being the segment. You'll find out.
Yeah, maybe. But you pick a WrestleMania, and then you can just change the opponent at that time. Like, you can't pick WrestleMania 7 and say Shawn Michaels. You know what I mean? That's just... Technically, it was real. No, it wasn't realistic. He was a rocker. But you know what I'm saying? At that time, who would you have picked instead of his opponent at that WrestleMania? Price, you're a big Undertaker fan. So I'm going to toss this to you to start it off. Who was your remake?
I don't know which one I want to go with first, because
Go in
Undertaker
order.
fans are going to be like this.
Yeah, go in order.
My first one is WrestleMania 15 versus Mankind.
He did face a big boss man, Hell in a Cell. You changed it to Mankind.
I'm changing it to Mankind.
I have a rebuttal to that, but obviously explain why.
These two, when they were inside the ring, it was magic.
Fact.
I mean, the match prior to this, if I'm not mistaken, was a match that Mankind almost died, I guess.
That's why.
So how are they going to top it? Is that was your question?
I was going to say, you're completely right with the magic and the chemistry. 96 proved it. The match in 97 proved it. Obviously, the Hell in a Cell proved it 98. I don't think you could top Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
You just
hang him
have-
from the Hell in a Cell, like they did in WrestleMania 15.
Well, if you think about the time frame,
Mankind would probably want to die in Hell in a Cell.
right?
to
But
top it.
if you think about the time frame with this, Mankind during '99, you were been able to see all these crazy stuff. So if you put a no holds bar or some sort of silly no disqualification, hardcore, something like that, you would have been able to see the dark side of Undertaker once again. You'd be able to see Mankind get 36 chair shots in the head and still remember her name.
I got you.
All right. So, and plus, when you look at that pay-per-view, Mankind, that match that he had with Big Show with that ridiculous bump spot at the end of it that he got hurt, which he's taken much worse bumps and has not got hurt.
That looked like it hurt. But I just feel like his match, as prominent of a star as he was, like, think about it. Not even maybe about a month before that, he was world champion.
Right.
And obviously he was the winner of that was the referee, but I just feel like he was forgotten because he came in so late. And he should not have been forgotten at all. Actually, if you think about that WrestleMania, Taker got forgotten because the Hell in a Cell match was a dud against Bossman. Kane had a really low mid-card match against Triple H. He got forgotten. I really think the only person...
Triple H got forgotten, too, during that pay-per-view.
That's what I mean. He did until he turned.
Yeah.
But I feel like Mankind and Taker, those were the two, other than Austin and Rock, that should not have gotten, lost in the shuffle. And I feel like they did. So if they had a match together, obviously just based on the last match they had before that, even though I don't agree with it, the booking sounds right.
Right.
In my eyes. But I mean, obviously, your eyes too. And I'm not Vince McMahon, so, but I am saying I agree with you. I feel like I was like the boss or something. But, Malloy?
I actually have WrestleMania 9. I'm going with changing his opponent from, what was it, Gonzalez? John Gonzalez.
Obviously, it was forgettable. He doesn't even know the name.
Right.
I know, the giant dude with
the
hair and the weird suit kind of thing. I think a great match would have been Razor Ramon.
Okay.
I think that would have put Razor on the map right there. I know, like, that was 92? 93? 93? Mm-hmm. So Razor Ramon was starting to get hot then. He was starting to get a little bit fire under him. I think, booked correctly, Razor Ramon versus The Undertaker would be cool.
Okay.
He'd be like, hey, yo, dead man.
The only thing that I would have said about that is that Razor was literally... he actually got a lot of cheers at WrestleMania 9, if I remember, against Backlund. I don't know if Backlund was just a boring opponent.
The match was 3 minutes and 45
seconds.
seconds.
I know, I'm just saying, but he got a lot of cheers when he was just a heel against Bret Hart a couple months before. For me, I have WrestleMania 9 as well. The matches were awful, but I thought Giant Gonzalez was a credible opponent. As for, I don't think you needed to bring anybody in to face Taker because you had Damian Demento, and you had my pick, Papa Shango. I feel like Undertaker with all that voodoo and stuff like that, it just would have been pretty cool. Plus, Papa Shango was there from WrestleMania 8 and stuff like that. I don't know.
That would have created a lot of sizzle prior to the bell.
I think so. It's what I mean, like on the mic and all the special effects and stuff like that. It could have been ahead of its time, number one. Number two, 2 years later when Papa Shango became Kama, they had that feud. So they could have had it 2 years earlier.
The ultimate fighting machine.
So, all right, we all just named one, but we actually have two listed here. So just to go back, around the carousel here.
All right,
you can start off with your second one.
WrestleMania 22,
okay.
and we changed it from Mark Henry in that casket match, which was
It was all right,
but I changed it to Kurt Angle. That was a match that never happened.
It's supposed to.
It happened on a SmackDown, and
No Way Out.
The crowd went. I was talking about the SmackDown match that they had in 2005.
I apologize.
That match was phenomenal, and I believe that they would have been able to have a great match. Undertaker was still healthy and able to move around in a great
He was healthy until about 24. Yeah, that makes sense. The thing about that, too, Kurt Angle reports that the build-up from Rumble, because, that's when he would close out Rumble, but Undertaker came on the white horse, and McMahon said Angle versus Taker at 22, Angle's supposed to win. Angle said, no, I'm not breaking the streak, so they made the match at No Way Out.
Well, I'm happy with Mark Henry now.
Yeah. Well, no, Kurt Angle would have said no. That's the reason why they had it at No Way Out. But that was a great match at No Way Out, actually, too. So that's a good pick, though.
I have Hulk Hogan wrestling Undertaker at WrestleMania 19.
I'm really intrigued by this.
I think the fact that the Hogan-McMahon storyline, it was a good storyline. I enjoyed it. That street fight was good. But the fact that WrestleMania 19, I think Undertaker was downshot. That match was horrible, him versus A-Train and Big Show. Now, if Nathan Jones was there as his tag team partner, not just coming out and bicycle kicking one of them halfway through the match, would have been, I think, a little better. But the fact of the matter is, you had Ric Flair, the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion, against Undertaker the year before. So that's a WrestleMania match that you never got to see because he was in WCW.
Yeah.
So yet again, another WrestleMania match you never got to see, Hogan versus Taker, and they were both very healthy at that point in time. They could have had a great fight.
Okay.
And you could have kind of did more of their storyline from Backlash in 2002.
Yeah,
And
Judgment Day 02.
Yeah, Judgment Day 2002.
And that also would have freed up Big Show to actually have a good WrestleMania match rather than Nathan Jones milking the entire match with coming in halfway.
Yeah, I got you. Nice pun.
Thanks.
The thing, I mean, that's obviously not a bad pick. And on your, especially with your logic saying that Ric Flair the year before, Hogan the year, the next year, it's
Two dream matches here.
exactly, it's possible, and it's actually like acceptable. The thing with that is, though, I just feel like the 1983 to 2003, like the 20 years in the making, like McMahon and Hogan, especially 10 years, 20 years, right? The 10 years in, Hogan testifies against him in court. 10 years later, they actually have a match at Mania. I just feel like that storyline is just too.
That storyline
perfect.
was the
Which
perfect storm
which you
for
did
that.
say.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, any other year that obviously I would take Hogan to take.
I would just say I would love to see Hogan and Taker.
Hell,
at
weren't
Mania.
people saying about that at WrestleMania 30 when there were rumors about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, obviously that always would have been on the table. For me, I have WrestleMania 11. He originally faced King Kong Bundy. I thought Ted DiBiase would have been a credible opponent. Same level. I mean, it's not really the marquee name in '95, but Ted DiBiase had one. His final match was. It wasn't like a final announcement or anything. It was just a random match against Razor Ramon at SummerSlam in '93. I thought he did enough in the business at that time to earn a good WrestleMania moment that wasn't over the top spectacular. And I thought storyline wise it made sense. He was going up against the money team, and Ted DiBiase was ahead of the money team, and he also brought in Undertaker. Do you know what I mean? So I just thought obviously Taker would still go over, and then Ted DiBiase would just drift off in the sunset.
I just have an honorable mention that I wanted to say, but I couldn't because of this. WrestleMania 30, Cena versus Taker. I thought that would have been a great match.
I think it's going to happen at 33.
It would have freed up Brock Lesnar to face Bray Wyatt, and they would have had a great match.
Either that or Batista or Orton, I was thinking.
That would have been a great match, too.
Do you know what I mean? But Brock Lesnar had a lot more credible opponents at 30 than he does now because he wasn't booked so heavy now. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely agree with you 100% on that. When we come back, it's time to close out our show. You want to say anything?
No, I'm good.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're just looking at me. I thought you had something to say.
No.
Unless you're daydreaming.
Yes.
But anyway.
I'm tiptoeing through the tulips.
There you go. We're going to close out our show as always after this break with our Self High Five. And me and Price had this discussion last Friday when we were watching WrestleMania 8. Wrestlers who should have won the WWE title prior to the brand extension in 2002.
What does everybody want?
Self High Five.
Oh. What does everybody need?
Self
High
High
Five.
Five. I ain't going to say the word.
Okay.
I'm not going to jail.
All right.
No, anyway, it's time to close out our show as always. Self High Five. This is the closing segment of episode number 46. And the topic is wrestlers who should have won the WWE title prior to the brand extension in 2002. Mainly, a lot of people, the way I look at it is Austin, Hart, Michaels, Hogan. They're the four I always think about when it comes to champions. I guess because of long-term reigns. But anyway, Price, get right into it. 5 through 1.
My number 5 is Ahmed Johnson. Number 4, Mr. Perfect. Number 3, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. My number 2, Brian Pillman. And my number 1, my 2017 guest entry in the Royal Rumble, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Would you come at number 30?
Number 30.
And win.
He's winning it all.
The big one.
We talked about Brian Pillman on Friday, so I knew you were going to put that down. And I just think it would have made sense in 1998 if he was still alive, unfortunately.
Right.
The Ahmed Johnson one, I think we've talked about many times, like years, that he would have been the first African-American champion, I think. Because just 96 was just so... They were just so low in ratings that they could have did anything. Do you want to explain any of the other ones? I actually want to hear you say... I want you to explain Dusty Rhodes one if possible.
Dusty Rhodes, because of the fact that he was already proven when he was in WCW, when he came over to the WWE. I know there's a lot of people that just watched WWE, especially back then. Just the way that he was able to, like, he had the feud with Ted DiBiase, and then he had the feud with Macho Man Randy Savage. I believe that made him a main player, to be able to hold that belt and hold it against whoever was on the roster.
The way I look at Dusty Rhodes in WWE is that he got lemons and made lemonade because the polka dot thing was supposed to be a joke, and that's what he's remembered for now. That's how good he was, especially on the mic. You know what I mean?
He's one of those guys that probably could wrestle a broom and you would still be like 5-star match.
Yep, I agree.
The other one that I wanted to explain was Jake the Snake Roberts. There was a huge thing with him when he had Hulk Hogan on the Snake Pit. That
87, yep.
That he hit Hogan with the DDT, and people were actually cheering for Jake the Snake Roberts. And then management was like, no, we can't go with that. We can't go against the grain.
Can't split the golden goose. That's exactly what Roberts says on the DVD.
Jake Roberts was a face, and
Jake Roberts was a heel.
He was a heel.
Yes, sorry.
All right, I apologize. But then a couple years later, they decided to go with Warrior. Even though I like Warrior a lot, they went with Warrior. Oh yeah, we're fine with that.
Well, it's because I guess Warrior wasn't still making the merchandise that Hogan was making. Do you know what I mean? If that makes any sense. I really wish a Jake Roberts Hogan feud happened.
Oh yeah.
Just because I always compare when it comes to faces Hogan and Savage, and that feud with Savage that he had in '91 was awesome. I actually wish they had a WrestleMania match instead of a Saturday Night's Main Event match. But yeah, I can only imagine what they would have did with Hogan. Malloy, 5 through 1.
I have Dean Malenko for my number 5. I got Goldust, Ravishing Rick Rude, British Bulldog, and Razor Ramon.
You could explain him. I'm intrigued by that list. I like it. It's different.
Razor Ramon, because I just think he could have been the top dog if he stuck around long enough. British Bulldog, he was there. I really thought he was going to get the title, but he just didn't. Rick Rude, I just think he had a good span in the WWE, and he was like the Vince McMahon build to be WWE champion. He just never made it. Goldust, just because it's Goldust. I'm a big fan of Goldust. I've always been. And he's proven himself to, over the years where if you put him in that structure, I think he's just as good as his father. You can wrestle a broom, and I find Goldust entertaining to watch him wrestle. And also Dean Malenko, because I think to me he is one of the best wrestlers to ever put on a pair of boots.
I completely agree. Only
downfall with him is he just had no personality, the personality of a squirrel.
No personality.
And his size.
It'll say his size, and plus he just came in at the wrong time. Like, he came in 2000.
Yeah.
The hottest time in WWE. So if you came over from WCW, no matter how talented you were, you'd have to work for the WWE title. You might get the European title, the IC title.
As he did.
He only got the light heavyweight, actually, right?
I thought he was European champion, wasn't he?
I don't know.
I believe he was.
Okay. But you might be getting that, but it'd be a real couple years. I was looking at it as
the brand extension, he probably could have got the world title.
Maybe. I just look at it as in Chris Jericho and Booker T were really, really popular, and they were really, really fresh in WWE, and it still took them each 2 years to get the title. So, can I imagine with Malenko, who has no personality?
Exactly.
But he is a great wrestler.
That's why I just picked wrestlers and characters that could have definitely been there.
I like it. It's something different. For me, my 5 through 1, I have Owen Hart at 5, Roddy Piper at 4, Razor Ramon at 3, 2 Vader, and then DiBiase at number 1. I would love to put Vader and probably Roddy Piper, maybe 1 and 2, but I thought Ted DiBiase came in at the right time. It was already 4 years into Hulkamania, and they were trying to find that next guy because he was going to go away for a couple months. And he was the perfect heel with, buying everything. So I thought he could have held the title, even if it was, for 2 or 3 months. Maybe back in those days because of the lack of TV every week, he probably would have held it for 6 months. But I thought he could have held it, transitioned it to Savage for a couple months, and then they could have did that WrestleMania 5 feud, Savage and Hogan. So I thought the timing was better for Ted DiBiase rather than Piper. Piper just came in at the wrong time with the height of Hulkamania. Unfortunately, otherwise I'd probably have him at 1. Vader, he was scheduled to win. He was just great. He was 430, 450 pounds, moonsaulting out the top rope, and he was a great heel, especially after what he did with Gorilla Monsoon. Razor Ramon and Owen Hart, I actually look at them more as IC title guys, but I would say more Owen Hart had a great feud with Bret Hart, so I thought they were going to give him just a little, maybe like a month or 2 reign. I thought he could have had that. And then Razor Ramon was just, I always say he's the first bad guy, besides Piper. He's probably the first bad guy that was just, no pun intended, bad, but he was just so bad. He was just so good at being bad, he became a fan favorite. So I thought, and if you look at it, when it came to him and Shawn Michaels, you could have really took one or the other. They obviously went with Shawn. Yeah, they went with Shawn, but they could have went with Razor. So that's how talented he was. So I might have explained a little too much there. Sorry.
Yeah.
But we are the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Episode 46 is in the books now.
But before we leave, why don't we just do those social media things one more time, Tom?
Scum Malloy.
All right. You guys could follow us on Twitter at The PriMalLow Show. Listen to us on SoundCloud at The PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Search us on Facebook, The PriMalLow Wrestling Show. And we also have a group, The PriMalLow Wrestling Show group. You could follow us on Blogger at primalowwrestlingshow.blogspot.com. And you could also find us on YouTube, The PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Search us for weekly episodes.
Yep, definitely. That's a great job. Look at you. Second
Look at
time in,
him.
you're already a master at it.
Jeez, I'm worried for my job.
I'm worried for my job. You're doing a little bit of hosting. He's doing the social media plugs. I'm here just to do my listing of the Self High Five,
Primal Show.
Primal
It's coming
Show.
out soon.
Yeah, definitely. No, we're going to go to video in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. I'm putting it in the books now.
Gotta
And
clean our room.
I don't want to let my audience down. I know you guys are with me, behind me 100%. But I know you guys like to do your sign-off, so close it out.
We are the nation of domination.
How you doing?
Stay tuned, guys, for episode 47 coming next week.